Hello friends, it is me, Dan Phelps. I'm coming to you from my home studio. I call it my music room. Actually, I call it the rec room, W-R-E-C-K, because I'm a nerd and I like to play with words like that. This is where, when you see me on my Instagram Live, on my YouTube videos, 99.9% of the time it's coming from within this space. This is my studio at home. And I think a lot about studio practice, something that I think visual artists are a lot more dialed into, more so than musicians, is they maintain a studio practice. Their workspace is in itself a form of their work, how it's organized, how it's laid out, what it's like aesthetically, really creating a space where creativity and thoughts and inspiration can happen unencumbered, or as unencumbered as possible. So I really love that, and I like to continually curate my studio space as I can. When I'm busy working towards deadlines, it often feels like between work and being a husband and a father and a friend and all the other things that demand my time, when I'm in here, it's usually to get stuff done and not to spend time tidying my stack of guitar pedals or cleaning things off my desk. But it's really important. I try to set aside a little bit of time, even if it's a day once every 2 months, that's just dedicated to coming in here and changing things about the setup, about how things are hooked up that I've been thinking about as I've been working since the last time I got to work on it, putting things away, organizing, all that stuff. It helps keep this space inspiring, because over the course of a day of intense work, oftentimes the floor will end up strewn with guitar pedals and guitars and cables. I'm moving things around and it just gets crazy. So if I leave it that way and am continually trying to work in that sort of environment, it just doesn't work for me. I end up feeling scattered and unfocused, and then I need that thing, I need that capo or that pencil or whatever, and I can't find it. And now I'm wasting time in diverting my energy from creative focus to organizational focus. So one of the coolest things that I've done in here in recent time is get this Yamaha PM1000 console. I did some simplifying. I sold off a bunch of outboard gear and I got this Yamaha console just to use for the mic preamps. It's got 16 channels of preamps and EQ. It sounds really good. And so now I have pretty much all of my microphones set up on stands, ready to go. The drum kit stays mic'd up with a great basic setup. I have floater mics that are just dedicated to moving around to different places, recording different instruments in the studio quickly. Everything is labeled on the Pro Tools inputs, and so I'm recording the next idea, working on the next thing as quickly as humanly possible with as little transit time from idea to idea. And I find that that's really effective for me. I'm digging too, I think maybe because my somewhat janky Yamaha drum kit is from around the same era as my somewhat janky Yamaha console. They sound really good together. There must be some kind of synergy happening there. So that's cool. I'm digging that. The other thing that I added recently is a Benson Stereo Studio Tall Bird Reverb. Say that 5 times fast. It's a fantastic sounding stereo spring reverb, tube driven, and it's absolutely my favorite sound on guitars and vocals for a sort of diffused ambient reverb. It sounds more like a beautiful wide hall kind of reverb sound rather than what you would normally associate with a spring. So that's making its way into my music and onto my mixes. And I'm reworking my smaller pedal setup. I have a large pedal board and a small one that tends to be the one that goes out of the house. And I got a new volume pedal, which is kind of a pedestrian thing, but I'm excited about it. It's a Lely, or Lay, I forget, I don't know how you say it, volume pedal that was recommended by a friend, and I'm really digging it right now. So it requires rearranging things on the board, and I'm going to spend some time working on that so I have a nice, versatile, not back-breaking setup to carry around with me. And that's about it. I'm training for my next marathon, which will be later this year. Kind of took a break from running, and now I'm getting back on the horse, as it were, getting back in the sneakers, maybe you might say. And I'm working on finishing up my course, which should be available for purchase in mere weeks and probably released in just over a month. So I'm really stoked about that. If you've been following along, you've probably seen some information about that, and I will be sure to share more as we get closer. So I hope you're doing well. I would encourage you, if you have a music room, studio space, somewhere that you practice your art or even your hobby, even if it's the shop in your garage where you go and build miniature ships in a bottle, spend some time on the space, organize it, make it pleasant, set it up in a logical way where everything that you use every day, the tools that you use the most, are within arm's reach, and see if that doesn't influence your creative time for the better. I know it does mine, and I find it really valuable. Be well. Talk to you soon.